Truth Girl. Who qualifies her to put a work on these people?
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mickey Truth, aka the Queen of Paperwork, and I am back with another video. As always, all information contained in this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. All information used in this video is per the Fair Use Act, and any conclusion that you draw is on you, not me. So let's get it.
Yo, so I'm gonna say this. When it comes to the YSL trial, it has been, for lack of a better term, the circus of the year. Okay. One thing that has been consistent is that them defendants, okay, are gonna cop them pleas for sure. Now, this particular defendant is kind of like a little bit of humorous, a little bit, right? Because last year the opportunity to take a plea was provided, and it was like for 6 years, but the defendant turned it down. Fast forward to November, which is a little less than a year after the original plea offer, he now decides, and this is Durante BB has decided to take a plea. And it's for 5 years, right? So it's like basically, in reality, the same plea minus a year, which has already been a year since they offered it to you anyway. But let's get into it. And shout out to Lauren Crime, as always. They definitely hold it down when it comes to getting that audio, that visual to us from inside the courtroom. So let's go over there now.
Referred to on the indictment you just signed of 22 SC 183572. Did you just sign that indictment?
Yes.
Okay. Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medicine?
No, ma'am.
How old are you?
23.
And how far did you go in school?
I went far.
What's that mean?
Like, I did 12.
You went to 12th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Did you graduate?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Are you able to read, write?
Paul, I'm just gonna say this is my little opinion. All these youngins that Thug had around him, Jesus, because he told me I went far. Like, dude, oh, you went 12th grade? Oh, okay. Did you graduate? Mm-hmm. Bruh. Well, wouldn't you just say I graduated when, you know what? Whatever. Let's get back to the audio, because what the hell?
And understand the English language.
Yes.
With respect to indictment 22 SC 183572, how do you plead to conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
How do you plead to theft by receiving stolen property? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
How do you plead to violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act in count 9? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
How do you plead to violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act as to count 10? Guilty or not guilty? How do you plead to possession of a firearm by a convicted felon?
Guilty.
How do you plead to participation in criminal street gang activity?
Guilty.
How do you plead to armed robbery reduced to robbery by force?
Guilty.
How do you plead to hijacking a motor vehicle in the first degree? Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with a full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have only a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have only 4 years from today's date for the felony charges to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this guilty plea?
Yes.
Your Honor, had this case proceeded to trial, the state of Georgia would have proved beyond a reasonable doubt that in late 2012, within the Cleveland Avenue area of Atlanta, Georgia, that YSL, who claimed affiliation with the National Blood Gang, was formed. The founders of that organization were Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug, also known as Slime, Walter Murphy, also known as DK, and Trontavia Stevens, also known as Tick or Slug. That this organization uses a number of different identifiers, including colors, clothing, tattoos, and hand signs in order to show affiliation with that organization. That this organization is part of the enterprise, which is Young Slime Life, and that this defendant was a member of this enterprise and conspired to and associate together with others for the common purposes of illegally obtaining money and property through a pattern of racketeering activity and conducting and participating in the enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. In furtherance of the conspiracy, he engaged in a number of different crimes. Specifically, Your Honor, 2 of those crimes in racketeering activity, first being one occurring on May 8th, 2012 at 151 Cleveland Avenue, which is in Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30315, which is an Exxon gas station in what is known to be the Young Slime Life gang territory. That Mr. Beebe was a part of an undercover sting operation at the gas station. Officer Applewhite, APPLEWHAITE, was operating in an undercover capacity. He went inside of the gas station and encountered the defendant. Officer Applewhite asked to purchase marijuana. The defendant asked how much.
Hold on, pause. What the fuck? Did she say 2012? Hold on. That man just said he's 23. Is that what he said? He said he's 23. So the boy was selling weed at 12. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wouldn't that be like a juvenile charge? Am I missing something? The hell is going on?
How much marijuana? Officer Applewhite advised he wanted $20 worth. The defendant then went into the area of the store, weighed up the marijuana, and gave that marijuana to Officer Applewhite. Once the sale was completed, other officers came in and placed Mr. Beebe under arrest. When they placed him under arrest, he was found with marijuana on his person as well as a gun. The gun was then ran and it came back stolen out of East Point Police Department from a car break-in in August of 2019. Additionally, Your Honor, about a year and 6 months later, in October 12th, 2021, this defendant, along with co-conspirator Christian Eppinger, were at 47 Cleveland Avenue, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, which is also in the Young Slime Life gang territory. While there, the victim, Mr. Darius Smith, was at that location, which is a park next to a library. Mr. Smith was speaking with a friend of his, and while speaking with that friend, there were 2 black males described. One had a blue and black ski mask with a black and silver handgun. The other suspect had a black ski mask with a black handgun. They approached Mr. Smith and stated to him, "Give up that chain." Mr. Smith had a large chain that was very identifiable. That chain was a diamond encrusted chain that looked like a house. It said Trap Commander on it. They also took additional jewelry and other items from Mr. Smith, to include earrings, a diamond and gold necklace, 2 iPhones, his car keys. They then went and jumped inside of his vehicle, which was a 2003 GMC Savannah. They then fled the location.
Well, that was a lot going on. So let's take a look at the paperwork, okay? So they did go ahead and release his, and this is for Durante Beebe, okay? His terms of his negotiated plea. And as you can see, 10 years certified, balanced, probated. Everything else is going to be concurrent with count 1, okay? So ultimately, he has a 5-year sentence for count 1 and a 5-year sentence for count 11. Count 12 is just probation, okay, which is for the criminal street gang activity. 2 years cumulative time served for the other 3. So basically, he don't have to worry about those. He will be just doing time for count 1, time for count 11, and then probation is going to be for count 12. All right. So, I forgot about this one. And then for the last 2, count 5, certified. So basically, ultimately, he gets 5 years for the 4 charges that he has to do time for. Okay. And as it says here, under sentence summary, the defendant is sentenced for a total of 15 years, with the first 5 years to be served in confinement and the remainder to be served on probation. Okay. It says the defendant is to receive credit for time served in custody from 11/17/2021 to present. So just under 2 years will be time credit, right? So in actuality, if my math is correct, if no other like good time or anything, I'm not really sure how Georgia works, he will probably have to do about 3 years in prison. All right. So that's pretty much what they went over in the court. So here we go. Special conditions, which is always important, okay, is defendant shall abide in full by each and all terms of this negotiated plea. B, if called to testify by any party in this case, defendant shall testify truthfully. So let's pinpoint. Unlike some of the the heavier hitters in this case, okay, he could be called from either side. So he's not per se like a state witness like Tick and like Walter Murphy and all that, right? They, that is fully the state is gonna call their ass, right? But this one is similar to like a couple of the others where either side could call him to testify. He can't have any guns until his rights is restored, can't commit no criminal acts. Now, mind you, in a couple of the plea agreements, they can commit acts as long as it's not more than like a misdemeanor or some shit. I thought that was crazy, but he can't commit no acts, okay? He cannot promote or allude to YSL in public or on any social media platforms. To tell you the truth, I don't see why he would want to, okay? Next, defendant's failure to abide by any special condition of probation shall result in a revocation of the defendant's probation. The defendant shall be subject to serving any remaining portion of the probated sentence in the Georgia Department of Corrections. So with him being only 23 years old, I'm gonna need for him to take this serious, because to be honest, those are some heavy charges that he could have been sitting down for a minute for. All right. Now, G, it says defendant relinquishes any Fifth Amendment rights to related any statement contained within defendant's factual acknowledgement contained within this plea agreement, and shall make no attempt at trial to assert a Fifth Amendment privilege when questioned on these matters. So basically, everything that they have set forth that he had to answer yes to or whatever, right, means he can't plead the fifth because he already pled guilty to it. So, for example, they mentioned Christian Eppinger, right? If they call him to testify and they ask, well, was it not Christian Eppinger with you? He can't say he pleaded the fifth. He already pled guilty, so he would have to answer the question truthfully. All right. So, and basically, is they giving him this? First offender or conditional discharge, that no judgment of guilt be opposed at the time, but that further proceedings are deferred. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much that with that one. Let's take a look at this. They already got it inputted also in the system. Yep. See? Negotiated guilty plea, negotiated guilty plea, guilty, 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 guilty. I'm a lot of charges. Okay. A lot of charges. All right. So now it says he will be again confined to the Georgia Department of Correction for a maximum of 5 years, 5 years probation. And again, probably 3 years max, as long as he don't get into no other shit and get like more cases on him. That's about it. Now, with that being said, that was a lot to take in. Like I said, he doesn't have the worst as far as having to like be labeled per se a snitch like some of the heavy hitters. However, he definitely got a good deal in the end. But what does that mean for Young Thug though? Like again, every person that took a plea had to plead guilty to, guess what? That first count, which is the actual RICO indictment. And as they stated at this hearing, it's 3 founders, okay, of allegedly YSL the gang, 2 of which have already took pleas. So Young Thug is the only one left with that, okay? Meaning he ultimately can get the book thrown at him if that trial ends in a guilty. Because again, the other 2 already got on through. Now, I have not heard that Thug was even offered a plea. Personally, and this is my opinion, I believe Thug is the target of this whole situation. It had nothing to do really with the other people. They just was like pawns to get the bigger fish. With that being said, what do I think as far as Thug's chances of beating it? I'm gonna be honest. It's a lot of red flags as far as the legal aspect of it. And I'm actually going to be working on a video breaking it down more. But if he is found guilty, I do believe he will have a chance on appeal, because it seems like it's some smoke on the state side with withholding evidence past the deadline, similar to the YNW Melly case. But again, I'm gonna do a video, I'm gonna break it down. It'll be too much to put in one. So before I end this video though, it was a document filed by Young Thug, right? On the 3rd of November, and I'm going to take a look at that here. And it's motion to redact indictment from showing any and all co-inductees who enter a guilty/Alford plea, which is a smart motion to file, because again, if everybody stays on that indictment at trial, and it's only 6 of them that's actually at trial at this point, right? And the state start mentioning, well, this person, hell, 2 of the co-founders of this alleged gang has already pled guilty. I mean, you ain't got to really know much about nothing but to think, well, if you saying these 3 people started this gang and 2 of them already admitted and pled guilty, then this person here is definitely guilty. So I can understand why they filed it, okay? And again, it says Mr. Williams is innocent of all charges of the above referenced indictments. In the case at bar, approximately 9 co-inductees have entered guilty plea on an Alford plea, and presumably they have signed the bill of indictment indicating such. The fact that a co-inductee has entered a guilty plea is not evidence against Mr. Williams or the other persons proceeding to trial. Mr. Williams respectfully requests this honorable court to redact, omit from indictment any evidence that a co-inductee entered a guilty plea if this bill of indictment is to go out with the jury during deliberation, or if the jury is to see said bill of indictment. I agree, because that's gonna be brandishing for real. But they have not ruled on it just yet, and you already know when it comes to this YSL case and that Judge Gainville, who knows what he's going to say. But with that being said, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend to pull up on your girl Mickey Truth, okay? And as always, man, y'all have a good day, and I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Holla!
Free Young Thug, free Melly Man, free Portland, free Deezy McDuffie for staying quiet. 803, baby. Free my daddy, man. Free D-Rose, man. Chicago said he ain't do it. Free my little cousin out of Richland County. Hey, it's your girl Mickey Truth. Free all the unjustly convicted, man. If law enforcement broke the law to get the conviction, they innocent. These cops playing a dirty game, but that ain't justice, man. No matter what you go through, do what you got to do and conquer the world.